All right, now we'll talk about layer styles, and in order to talk about that, I've got two layers. I've got the lion head by itself. I've got the lion. I might even make another layer and just maybe make this kind of arbitrary geometric shape to illustrate a few things. All right, I just used the polygonal lasso to make a shape. I'm going to use the paint bucket to fill in there, and so I've got a layer like that. Okay. Okay. In fact, I think I might do a little bit of spatter at the edge to show something here. There we go. Okay, layer styles. They're similar to filters, but they're not exactly the same because filters work with pixels and so forth inside your image. Layer style applies an effect to your whole layer, like this. That layer by itself will have a layer style on it, and I'll just start with this. All right, so I've got this layer selected. I'm going to go up to layer at the top of my screen. I'm going to go down to layer style. And here they all are. I'm going to start with bevel and emboss, and we'll just see how that works. And hopefully you can see that it's got oh yeah, all right. I have to. It won't let me change tools until I decide on here in this window. I can decide the up or down direction of the light for the bevel, the depth, like how deep is the bevel, the size of the bevel. You know, if it's like big there. I can change the angle of the light. I can right here. I can click and have the light going different directions, kind of like that, because it creates this goopy corner edge light. And then this gloss contours, that's a lot of fun to play with. If you click on this little down arrow, there's these little, you can see how it changes, you know, whether the diagram is of the contour is different. It'll change the, you know, the contour there. It's a mountain there, it's a valley there, different angled valley, multiple peaks, and so this can be fun. This can give you some different effects. You can almost imagine a wax that maybe a king has pressed his ring into, you know, that kind of a thing. All right, so this would be a layer style. It applies to the whole entire layer. Okay. And then notice down here in the layers window, you can see it under effects. There's bevel and emboss. I can actually turn that off. I can click on it and it's gone. Click back and it comes back. And I can say, well, let me try a different. I'm going to turn this off, and then if you double click on this whole effects layer, the window comes back and you say, well, I'm going to try a different one. I'm going to try a stroke. Okay, so a stroke, and it doesn't look like anything happens because what I have to do is I have to go down here and select the stroke layer, and then now I can play with the stroke. It's currently a white stroke. I can't see anything with that, so I'm going to make it black, and I'm going to make it bigger as 1 point. And you can see how the bigger I make it, the wider it gets. And of course, I could make it 100% opaque, or I could make it kind of transparent. All kinds of things I can do there. Can make it a gradient, pattern, even different patterns you can choose, like so. Okay, so and then I can turn that off and turn bevel and emboss back on, or put them both on, and I can keep doing this. Okay, so just to show you how that works, it can also work on images. The result is, you know, it may not be what you want, but let's just say I want the same bevel and emboss feature, that thing right there, I want that on the lion. Well, it's only going to do it to the edge of the line, but I'm going to show you how it's going to look. And I could select the line, and then I could go up to Layer, Layer Style, and then choose one of these, and then try to recreate that. But let me show you something else. You can actually copy and paste a layer style. So I'm going to select this layer, go to Layer Style, and then I'm going to go down to Copy Layer Style. So I've copied the layer style, and then I'm going to go down to the lion layer and go back up Layer, Layer Style, and I'll do Paste Layer Style. And there you go. It's got that that bevel effect on it. Again, only to the edge. It doesn't do anything interior, because a layer style affects what's on the layer, almost as if it's just a flat image, and it puts the effect on the edges. All right, so I can do a stroke as well. All right, so that's how layer style works. So you can copy and paste them, and do all kinds of things there. Now, one more thing about layer styles. They are they're mostly vector effects, which means that they're not rasterized. And let me show you what happens if I take the eraser, and I'm going to try to erase on this lion. And here I go. Look at that. As I come into the lion, the stroke follows my erase inside, and then the bevel and the emboss follows in the inside. The reason is because the layer effects work on the edge, and I have just changed what the edge is. I've brought the edge in. Now you may say, well, I wanted to erase, but I didn't want this stroke to come inside, and I didn't want this bevel edge to come inside. Well, there is a way to not have that happen. But what you have to do is you have to change these layer styles into part of the rasterized image. So you've got to, you lose your ability to edit these effects. It'll just become part of the lion image. So here's what we do. We go to Layer, Layer Style. Actually, we'll go to Layer, we'll do Rasterize, Layer Style. And if you think about it, it's turning those vectors into a layer, into a raster. There we go. So now I have rasterized the layer style. Notice the effects are gone in the layer palette there. So now when I erase, it just does what you would expect it to do. Okay, so that's another thing about layer styles. If you don't want them to, affect your future edits, you have to rasterize them, turn them into a raster so that you can play with them. Okay.